All right, so I didn't get enough time to talk about what the entire thing is about today because they called time on me way too soon. Way too soon. So they are, I know. Oh, that trailer. Oh, thank you. I keep all the clips I ever make, and I can splice things together pretty quick. So here's the idea. You've heard all Rockstar long that a great way to connect with educators is through Twitter, right? And so you're connecting with the educators, getting ideas and kind of finding what they do in class and getting ideas from them. But the problem is it's always happening after the fact, right? You're not doing it in class. The idea of the no walls idea is that you find a teacher that you are really well connected with, someone that has the same ideologies as you, somebody that teaches the same subject as you, and you co-teach with them. Okay, and so it's kind of like a guest teacher in your classroom. So we've been doing this at my school, and it's been working pretty well. So what we do is my science team, we have 4 science teachers, and we all get together and say, you know what, you are the best chemistry portion of our unit. You have the best labs, you understand chemistry the best. So why should we, other 3 science teachers who don't know chemistry as well as you, why should we be teaching our kids chemistry when you are the best at it? The idea is getting the best education to our students any way possible. So finding the best part of all of our teachers and then emphasizing that to our students. So the idea behind the No Walls classroom is that the students that are in your class are not your students. They are our students. The students of a science teacher in Indiana, they're not his students. They're our students. So we need to get the best teachers teaching the best practices to all teachers. And the best way to do that is to have teachers viewing it in real time and being part of that educational process. Because as teachers, we feed off of each other, right? It's infeasible to have 2 teachers in a classroom at the same time. It is. I mean, we have 40 kids in our classrooms. They're not going to bring another teacher in and say, oh, we're going to pay you both. This is a way to get 2 teachers in the same class, feeding off of each other, growing because they're finally getting, oh, that's how you do that. Oh, that's how you get the kids engaged. It really works very well. The part that people get hung up on is the technology part. And that's why it hasn't grown past my science department, because everybody else is kind of frightful of setting it up. So we're going to go through how to set it up, how to get you started on creating a live hangout, on inviting other teachers to join the live hangout, and how to decide who's going to be the lead teacher that day, who's broadcasting their ideas, and then who's going to be the helping teacher. Yes. Yes, so it's going to be Google Live Hangouts. So it's going to be going on live. And the reason why I use Live Hangouts is because at the end of the Hangout, when you hit done, session is over, the entire thing has been saved and recorded, uploaded to your YouTube channel, where you can then place that on your website as an archive of what you did that day. So the kids that were gone were now there. The kids that had to leave before a dentist appointment or had to leave because of choir or band or sports, they can get everything that they needed to get right then and there. The other great thing about it is when we incorporate this with things such as Nearpod or Kahoot, kids who are at home on home hospital or away on a trip that still want to be part of the class, they can still join in because they can view your lesson live on your YouTube channel when it's happening. So the idea is grand. But if you can imagine something happening, you're not thinking big enough. This is something that can really promote education all across the United States. Because right now, there's a huge thing going on called mystery Skypes. Has anybody heard of mystery Skypes? Right? And it's great because kids get to connect with other kids from across the United States. But it's really, it has nothing to do with your subject. You're not doing a mystery Skype and trying to just find out what element they have in their hand. You're trying to find out where they are. This is the next step in a mystery Skype, where you are actually learning and teaching with other kids across the United States. Okay, and the great way to do that is to connect via Twitter and say, just like you would do with the mystery Skype, and hey, do you want to do a mystery Skype tomorrow? You can say, hey, next week I'm teaching atoms. Are you on the same page? Do you want to do this together? Now the mystery Skype has turned into something even bigger. So that's the idea of the no walls. So I kind of want to get you set up so you can see how this could happen. And so to do that, you have to go to YouTube. Okay, and if you don't think you have a YouTube channel, if you have a Google account, you have a YouTube account. So I would like you to go to youtube.com, or you can go to google.com, click on your waffle, and then select the YouTube icon. So everything we're doing right now is being recorded and broadcasted live to anybody who's watching my YouTube channel at the moment as well. I am wearing a wireless mic. You can buy these off of eBay. You can buy them off of Amazon. This is a Plaintronics 2-year-old version, so it's not as expensive. They're about $50, and it transmits to a little dongle that's in my computer. So, and it, for me, the great thing about it is it has a voice equalizer. So even when I'm talking really loud, it equalizes it back down to a normal level. So that's pretty good for me. So these are great, but you don't necessarily have to have one. You can always teach close to your computer, and the mic on there would pick it up as well. So this up here is your YouTube channel. You should see your name or your picture or whatever you have up in the corner. Does everybody see that? Okay, good, perfect. When you get there, you're going to click on it, and then you're going to come down to the cog wheel. And that's going to be our settings, and we're going to click on that. And you should see an overview screen that looks like this. You want to create a channel. Okay, that a channel is like your class channel. So go ahead and click create a channel. And it says, do you want to use YouTube as? And I'm going to say yes, I want to use YouTube as that. And now you have your very own channel. Has anybody ever used YouTube in your class before with channels? Channels are pretty good because you can pinpoint the videos that you like that would help the students out, and they could subscribe to your channel, and then they can then pick out those videos. But this channel is where your recorded lessons are going to land, and you don't have to put them there. Once we get you all set up, all you're going to have to do is click Start Broadcast, do your thing, End Broadcast, and it automatically lands your channel right here, lands your video right there, which can then be easily embedded into your Google site. So once we've created a channel, we're gonna do something for you that's only available to educators and people who pay a premium, and that's allowing you to put videos longer than 15 minutes on YouTube. Yes, absolutely. No, absolutely. There we go. So this means you've created a channel. So now we're going to go back to our face in the right-hand corner, select back on the cog wheel, and we're going to select the small thing that says View Additional Features. Yes. Oh, no problem. Okay, so right on your face right here, and then click on the cog wheel. And you already have a channel, perfect, so we're going to select right there. Create a new channel? No, right, additional features. So we're going to select on View Additional Features. And so this is everything that we have right here. So it says you're in good standing. It says you have not uploaded anything that has violated copyright. Monetization, if you're using a Gaff account, that's always turned off. But if you're using your personal one, if the more people who watch your videos, you can make some money. But like if it's a Gaff account, you can't. The one we're going to be changing is longer videos. So go ahead and select Enable. Thank you. And it says, where are you from? You're from the United States. And they have to make sure you're actually who you say you are. So you're going to select the option that says, text me the verification code. And then it's going to ask for your phone number. And it's, don't worry, it's Google, so they probably already have your phone number anyways. and then they should text you. Don't put in the phone number that they text you with. Put in the code number that you see in the text box. And it's usually pretty quick about sending it, but sometimes not always. So there it is. Put it in. $9017. 38. Now you're verified, and you'll now see that your longer videos is now green. That is an essential step. If you're showing this to a teacher that you want to do co-teaching with, that is an essential step, because if not, after 15 minutes, your video shuts off because it's longer than the 15-minute time frame. It'll upload the first 15 minutes for you, but after that, it will not allow you to do it. Everything else here looks great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to go back to google.com. The whole reason we had to set YouTube up and create a channel is because it needed a place to land. So that's why we created the YouTube channel. You don't really have to go back to YouTube again. We're going to go to the waffle, and we're going to select Google Plus, because that's where the Hangouts originate from. So Google Plus. And if you've never had a Google Plus channel, just click yes, 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 or you don't have to really set. Nobody ever uses Google Plus, so you're never going to really go back to it for anything other than creating a Hangout. Right there.
Oh, where it says plus.
Mm-hmm. That one. The red one with the plus. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know what Google Plus is, it was Google's attempt to get into the Facebook game, Twitter game that never really took off, but it's a great place for Hangouts. So this is where we go for Hangouts. And you can also see right now that we are live in the thing called No Walls Classroom Teaching. So anybody who's following me on Google Plus and they go, oh, I want to learn about that, they would click play and they'd join us. And they can be watching exactly the same thing that's on my screen. It's a screencast option. Google Hangouts have lots of options, and the screencasting one is one of the best. So raise your hand if you have not been on Google Plus before and you're setting that up. Okay, so we'll give you a few minutes to make sure you do set that up. If you've already set it up, you can go ahead and hover over the home button right up here. And then you'd scroll down to where it says Hangouts. And it'll open your Hangout page right here. Now, a few things on this Hangout page. If somebody invites you to a Hangout, you're always going to see it right over here off to the side. That's where you're going to see it. So if you are co-teaching with somebody and you're the following teacher, you will receive a notification right here that says so-and-so is inviting you to a live Hangout. You select it, and it brings up the screen that you're showing, that you would show the kids. Okay, so before we leave today, we are going to do a co-teaching so that you can see how it actually works in this room, how we can toggle between screens, and how you can see what's on my screen. So that's what all the kids would see. So under Hangouts, you have two options. You have Hangouts on air and video Hangouts. If you didn't want to record the lesson, video Hangout is a perfect idea if you don't want to record the lesson. For me, I like to archive every day for all of my students. So I always go Hangouts on air. So I select that, Hangouts on air. And it says, you're about to do a Hangout on air. Great. So we're going to select Create Hangout on Air. Now it'll ask you, what would you like to name it? So if it's a lesson on chemistry, you would say chemistry. If it's a lesson on physics, you say physics. Whatever the lesson for that day is, you would name it. So I'm going to just title it Rockstar. You can tell people what it's about, but I always skip it because the people I'm telling that it's about are the students and they're already in. You can start it now or later. So let's say you're going to do this after lunch, but you already want to get the whole setup taken care of ahead of time. You can always choose later and then go back to it. The audience always has to say public, but the only people that can view it are the people that have your YouTube channel anyways. And if that's not out there, people aren't just going to randomly select it. And then we're going to go ahead and click share. And people always say, well, if you do it publicly, isn't that a violation of the students, blah, 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 blah. You're not videoing the students. The only thing that's being broadcast is your voice and the screen. That is it. So none of the students' voices or pictures are going to be placed on the screen. So we click share. And it might not let me do it only because I'm already doing a Hangout while this is going. Be like Inception, a Hangout within a Hangout. I don't know if it will explode. Okay, so it did. And so as soon as you do that, it's going to tell you the name of your Hangout, and it's going to say start. So you can set it all up, get ready to go, and then you can, well, this is telling you all the new things about the Hangout. There's new apps. There's like a clapping thing. So if your fellow teacher likes what you say, they can click clap and they can hear clap, that type of stuff. If there's an audience that you have parents watching, they can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down saying they like what's going on. So good and bad. You can have a question and answer between the teachers, but I always shut that off because we can always talk to each other this way. And then I'm going to go ahead and click start. And this screen pops up. This means your Hangout is ready to go. And notice off to the side, let me open up the side over here. This is where you would see the notification that a call is waiting for you. So a Google Hangout is like a telephone call, but you'll see the movie camera indicating it's a video call. So that's what your fellow teachers would be looking for to select, and they would be joining your Hangout. This is saying that Google Hangouts wants to have control of your camera and a microphone. And yes, you want them because you want the kids to be able to hear your voice, and the camera would be the screen itself. So you're going to click allow. Now you have to double check with your Gaff account, whoever's doing it. They may disable it. Just let them know why you need it enabled, and they'll say it's okay. The start button. Yeah, the start button. Yes. So go ahead and click share.
We did, and then it says that, and we've already verified it.
Oh, so you might have to restart it again. So we'll go cancel, Hangout on air. Yeah. Let's see, are you doing the same? That one? Let's see, make sure the YouTube is the same. They're different. The ones you're using are different. You want to make sure, you want to make sure the YouTube channel that you verified is the same one that you're using for the Hangout. So if you have two of them, it's not going to connect the two. Yeah, or you can, so since you did this one, you can go to this one. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, you just want to make sure it's the same YouTube channel that you okayed. And then so we're going to click start right there. Okay. Okay, I'll come right over there as well. think you can start one in here. Let's try it this way. You know, it would say, I believe it. Most districts are. If that was the case, it would say not available. It wouldn't just say it wouldn't say the YouTube stuff. So let's try this. Let's make sure we're signed out of all of our accounts, and let's just make sure we're in the one that we need to be in. Okay, so we're going to sign in with this one. There we go. You just have to do that phone number thing again. You should be all set. For some reason, there was two accounts open at the same time, and so it okayed the account for one of your accounts for YouTube, but it didn't connect to the other one. Yeah. All right. You been playing around with Formative?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like it?
I love it.
Yeah. So see, we're having the same thing. So you have this YouTube channel open, and that's verified, but this is the one you're using for Hangouts. So we have to make sure that's the one that is verified. There we go. So you just have to do that texting thing one more time. Yeah. Now, one of the problems that early on I ran into, and some of you are running into at the moment, is that you may have multiple accounts open on your Chrome browser, and because sometimes you like to toggle between a few different ones, and then that confuses the Google Plus and the YouTube. It doesn't know which YouTube you verified versus which Google Hangout you're using. So I always like to create different Chrome accounts rather than different Google accounts. So like right now, my Chrome account is linked to my school account up there, and I have two open. So let me show you. So this is my school Gaff account, Mr. Marquez at altasierra.org. So I know that's the one I'm using. But if I open up another browser here, this is my personal account. So anything I open up in this browser will always be linked to this personal account. Sometimes you have one account open and two accounts open, and it doesn't know which one to link it to. Yes. Mm-hmm. You could do your personal one. For this, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, for this is that. If your school has a Gaff account, you would want to create all your student documents in that. But the recordings, you don't have to. You can always share them still with yourself and put them on your website. So you. Okay, share Yes, to your school one. Yeah. So, and in fact, I used to always use my personal one to do the Hangouts on air, but now I use my school one. Now, let me open up the actual Hangout on air, and let me show you what it, is that it? No. There we go. Well, it's mirroring itself because I'm screencasting. So it's showing you my screen, which is showing you my screen, which is showing you my screen. If I take it down, that would go away. Yes. So this is what's happening. Let's say that I'm teaching a lesson on Nearpod. Okay. So the kids get the screen of Nearpod no matter what, but they'll also get my screen up at the front of the class because I'll be annotating. So they'll be able to see all my annotations, and they're also hearing everything that I say. So the projector from my other teachers' computers are projecting my screen while I'm talking. So it works pretty well. So let me show you what I mean. Let me go ahead and add somebody as my code teacher. So let me present to everyone. So if I want to add somebody, I'm going to click on plus right here. So I'm going to add somebody. So let me click on that. Somebody give me their Google account that they're using right now. ACHAMALBIE@gmail. There you are. Invite. So I invited you. So if you look at your Google Plus, so you click on it.
Okay. And that's accepting that I'm in the chat. I'm in the chat, not in the Twitter.
Open.
Do I have to hit add? Do I have to hit that? Add to circle?
Yeah, let's see. Whoops. It should pop up a screen like that. That's what should be popping up.
That was So, what is that?
There we go. Join a video call. Join Hangout.
Because unfortunately, the two people at my school that are in my department are the copy kings.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but another woman at another site, I could talk into doing this.
So well, now we're getting, because she's hearing what I'm saying, and so that's what her students would see. But notice when I take down this screen, you see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that I do, I would hear you. Now, if you talk, go ahead and talk.
This is interesting.
Okay. Now, so
what if we both talk at the same time?
well, see, that's the great part. The other teacher can join in and say, you know what, I have another thing to say about that, and they can talk to all the other kids as well. If you don't want that to happen, and you all have these, you can set it to where it doesn't send their voice out of the speaker, it sends it to my speaker here. So you can talk to me, and only I hear you. So I have a couple of teachers that like to co-teach, and they just put the speakers both in their ear, and they talk to each other while the kids are working.
Do you go, I would like to order a hamburger? No cheese.
Yes. Here's the great thing, though. With this, I can now put up a Kahoot, and 4 different classes can join the exact same Kahoot. So now you have 120 kids participating department-wide.
That's cool.
And once again, everything we're doing is being recorded. And then as soon as we're done, it uploads it to our YouTube channel and we place it on the website.
And there's nothing with, because our school is like ridiculous about student safety as far as like having their images anywhere.
Yeah.
And so this is.
So you're the students. Do you see your guys' face? No. So, and since you're so close to the computer, I can hear you, but the kids are going to be away from the computer. And the only thing that, this is the only thing that'll pick up sound. And so they will not hear the kids.
But wouldn't you recommend to get one of the earphone things?
I do, and there's a few of them that there are. There's one that's a necklace that you can put on, so that if you actually, we have this the AB teachers that I've been working with, they like to do like little drama skits about the ages, and so they'll have one kid in the other class, they say you're A, and then the other class you're B, so they don't know who they are, and they put the thing next to them, they go, how are you? And the other kid goes, I am fine. What are you doing? So it's completely non-visual communication between two students, and so they have the little microphones like that. So, which I would say buy the cheapest one you can find.
Well, I've seen the one like when you have kids that are hearing impaired and they have the mic like on a lanyard, so that it picks up everything the teacher says.
That's not the same.
That'd be a case, but you could. Yeah, but I mean, as long as it's just a wireless mic, I recommend not doing one that's a Bluetooth, because Bluetooth has poor audio quality. So you would want one that has its own personal dongle, which is what this is. So it picks up the voice clearly, so you can hear my voice very clearly.
Hear it very clear.
And there's not that big of a gap between the students and me. And then if I'm talking and a student wants to ask a question, all of them have their phones or the computers out and they tweet me. And so I would see their tweet. They put at Marquez Science. I see their question in my glass, but you don't have to get a glass. You can use a tablet that's sitting right here and open it up to your notifications. You can get a wearable, like they're like 50 to 100 bucks, not the iWatches, but the early Samsung or the early Motorola's that'll do easy notifications, and you can see their questions.
What if you don't have like there's no accessibility to like Twitter?
So if there's no accessibility to Twitter, there's another one that you can do called Today's Meet. It's a back channel. So you can create your own little class channel that they can all join in, and you can see the questions there.
Well, they could do like a campus.
Yeah, we do a lot of examples. How would you incorporate this with explanations?
I'm glad you asked. Did you come to my Nearpod session? Okay, so there's a program called Nearpod. And in Nearpod, they have an option that is draw. So like you have to work it out freehand. And so as the teacher, you'd be like, okay, this is the problem I want you to figure out. Show all your work. And on their computers, a blank screen pops up and they have to draw it. On your screen, you have little tiny boxes of all the work that they're doing popping up. And then as the teacher, you go, that is a fantastic example. You click on it, you click share, and it sends that picture to every device of every kid that is in that Nearpod session with you. And you say, that is a fantastic example. Then you find one that's the most common mistake. Click on that one and share it. See, this is the most common mistake. No, well, they will know because it will have their name. But the kids like that. They like being, I mean, you're not like saying that's a stupid mistake. You're saying this is a very common mistake. So in conjunction with this and in conjunction with Nearpod, in conjunction with GoFormative, that's another very good one. GoFormative is an app that you can have a little whiteboard session with all the kids at once. So that really works as well. The whole point of this is to get us as teachers out of our shelves, to get us teachers out of our caves as an individual person talking to 35 kids at a time, and really seeing how a few years ago our district was really big on giving a roaming sub all day, and you would leave your class and watch another teacher teach. This way, you can watch another teacher teach by teaching, and you don't have to leave your class. They're getting 2 teachers for 1, 3 teachers for 1, 4 teachers for 1. And it really builds the community for your department. It really builds the community for the students, because now you're affecting more than you can ever imagine. the possibilities for this are endless. But the hardest part is getting teachers to understand the idea, getting to understand that through Google Hangouts, which everybody has if they have a Gaff account, and if they don't, they can create a Google account. Through that, through on-air Hangouts, I can broadcast my voice, I can broadcast my screen to as many classrooms that I want. There is no limit to as many classrooms that I want to send this to.
I always have, I'm an idea person, but as far as like the nuts and bolts of it, so once you do this with Google Hangout, you basically have, I mean, what we just did, that's all technically that I have to do.
That's it. So the hardest part is the first time setup. The hardest part is the first time setup. And that is where I lose most of my teachers, because they think they have to do that every single time. They think they have to go to YouTube and then verify the account and then set up another account and then go to, now all you have to do from start to finish, say, hey, do you want to do a Hangout tomorrow? Cool, let's do it. 8 o'clock. You ready? Good. Perfect. So all I have to do, I go to Google+, click on Hangout, on-air Hangout, title it, submit. And then once it's open, I click on the little person with the plus, I type in your name, I hit send. On your screen, on your Google+, it'll say, Joe just invited you to a video Hangout. You click it, click join, now we're in session. I've only been dabbling with the mystery ones because I haven't found the California state standards for science are way different than every other school. But with Common Core coming out, it's going to be the same pretty much everywhere, which will be much better for this. This is fantastic for 6th grade teachers, because 6th grade teachers, most elementary schools are K6, and then junior high are 7-8. But the framework for science and the framework for most of Common Core is written as K5 and 6, 7, 8 as the junior high. So the 6th grade teachers are really getting a raw deal right now, because they're being asked to be qualified in math, qualified in English, qualified in science. They're being asked to have pretty much single subject competency in all of those things. And so this, and I've already talked to my 6th grade teachers, this allows me to help them teach by listening in on their lessons and helping them out, being a guest instructor. It's seriously, once it works, I mean, because it finally worked in one of my AB classes. It finally worked. It finally clicked. The teachers were able to do everything on their own. When it finally worked and I saw the way the kids were going, wow, this is pretty awesome, I really was in awe. Like, this idea is actually working. And the teachers actually know how to do it. So the beginning, lots of bumps. As you saw right here, there's lots of bumps. But once it works, the ideas and the possibilities can become endless. I have a, does he need it to go to his Mac, or does he need it to? I have a direct to the projector for the iPad. I have a direct to the projector. I am the dongle master. You got it. Yes. Okay, so this is the way that I pushed it out to my science teachers. I go, look, they're asking us to write all these new lessons for the new NGS coming up. With this, I can say, this week, I am going to take the lead and I am going to be the lead teacher. And so it gives them a chance for 3 weeks to work on advancing our other NGS properties. So it gives teachers more time, because in that 1 week, I am preparing the entire lesson plan for everybody. Same thing with labs, because with labs, watch this. Once everybody's connected, and since I'm the one that started the Hangout, I am considered to be the director. I can put on screen whatever I want. And so right now it's on screen mirroring. But off to the side right here, are all of our different options. And so I can turn it from screen mirroring to this. So I can put this on myself.
I can show
the lab to all the kids, show them how to do it, and then I can say, okay, and then all the teachers have their lab already set up. And I say, okay, let's do it. And using GoFormative, which I showed yesterday, all the labs that we have are already digital. And so all the teachers can watch their students working at the same pace and seeing what's going on. So we can have lectures this way. We can have labs this way. We can have kids doing presentations this way. Kids working on a Google slide in 2 different classes, and we have them sign up on a spreadsheet. You need groups of 4. Doesn't matter what class you're from. You just have to put your name and your teacher. And groups that have more than 2 teachers, I give them a little bit extra credit because that's hard work.
Why is it toggling back from you to me?
I forgot to do the director. So this is the control room, and in the control room, anybody up here, I can either take away your voice, take away your video. So I took away your video. Now that video is not going to pop up. I can take away your voice. As the director, I can pretty much do whatever I want. What I'm thinking about doing in the future, having a student be the director, right? So the student toggling between 2 teachers' rooms. So one teacher would be mirroring their screen, I'd be mirroring our screen, and then one teacher's talking, toggle over, just like the Academy Awards. Camera 1, camera 2. That's down the road once we get this going. I mean, that's mind-blowing stuff for me, but just getting kids involved in video production of the class, that'd be pretty awesome as well. Yes. So we have units already split up. So we have 6 units. And every Monday we give the exact same. So we have common exams, same tests. We have common labs. We use our PLC time to really make everything as common as possible, because the problem that we've had is parents saying, well, they do less quizzes, or they give easier tests, or they do easier labs, or reversely, they don't ever do labs. We don't want them to be in that teacher class. All they do is hand out worksheets. So we try to be as common as we can in our work that we give out, but we are vastly different in our personality. And students love to see the difference between the different teachers in class. And now you can tell parents, it doesn't matter what science class your student's in, because we have this new thing where all the science teachers are the teachers to all of your students. So it's not a one thing. So now we have no more switching because parents are like, I want them in that teacher's class. We have no more switching. Yes. And the thing about it is this, we started super slowly. So all we did was this, once a week, let's do a common starter, just 15 minutes, a common starter. So the same starters on the screen, all the kids are working on them, and then I go through 1 week and I fill those, the answers in and tell them why. Common starters. Then we went in, let's do a common lesson, just one common lesson a month. So 1 starter a week, but 1 common lesson a month. And then that worked out pretty well. Let's do 2 common lessons a month. And it grew from there. So I always start off super small. Give them the taste that they can do it, right? Because if you were in my session yesterday, you saw the Fashigi effect, right? You don't want to show them, look how easy this is. And they go off on their own like, this is hard. I'm never doing this again. Okay, you want to start off super easy to give them a success. Then something else, give them a success. This is my Moonshot idea. So Google has this thing called the Moonshot, and it's how are you going to change the world with an idea that people think is impossible? Okay, I want to change the world by making educators people that anybody can go to. My vision is that one day we will have a whole YouTube channel of all of us doing our recordings, and a student goes, you know what, I heard this teacher does a very good job with this, and they can go on and they can be their student now. They can go over here and be that student now. I have no technology in my class. I'm BYOD in my classroom. Yeah, I'm in Clovis. Well, more kids have cell phones than anything. So I probably have 5 bring laptops, 15 bring cell phones, and if that day it's even lower, we get into groups and we kind of break them up into groups using their phones and stuff. So, yes.
There's a real disparity in our school, and I don't think we can fix it in 1 year of everybody being off. But what I'm considering is listening to you is what if every teacher then recorded as people hang out? And then we're at least on the same level. The kids choose who they go back to.
That's how I started. I used Google Hangouts as an individual. I used Google Hangouts just to record the lessons for that exact reason. For kids who got it, who wants to get it a little bit better, they can review it. For those who didn't get it the first time, can go back and review it. For those students who were not there, they can watch it. Okay. And so on my website, I have a thing that says, when you're not in class, you're still with us. And that was the whole reason for this. The next step was getting another teacher to join me, because that's a powerful feature with Hangouts. I was tired of living in a cave, walking into my classroom at 7 in the morning and not leaving till 3:30 in the afternoon. I was tired of it. You know, and I love my kids and it's great and everything, but sometimes you want an adult to talk to. You know what I mean? And this allows me to do it. And the camaraderie that you get now, not just seeing each other in the break room, not just seeing each other in your morning meetings, the camaraderie, and the kids love it when you joke back and forth and one teacher makes a joke and you try to one-up them with another. It just makes the classroom just that much more bearable to be in, not only as a student, but as a teacher. Yes.
But another school that I taught at, I know that I can tell her. But I think as far as, because it's east side, west side, and Mike's are west side, and they have this, they're better than us, we're different than them. And I think that this would bridge, we're all the same.
Yes.
I mean, we're doing the same thing, we're learning the same thing. But they think they're so much different. And I worked at both sides. Because the kids, you're both doing the same thing, you're both in the same world, doing the same thing. You know, the only thing separates you is what side of the street you live on. But I think that that would be powerful as far as doing the same thing. They're not learning, you know, anything different than you guys.
And for me as well, it's a learning experience to see how other teachers approach the same problem. For me, especially not only in the same department, but in the same department at the other schools. How are you teaching this lesson? How are you working with your students? How do you talk to them? How do you keep them? How do you engage them? What's your personality like when you're talking? This helps me understand and become a better teacher by watching other teachers, right? Yes. Yes. And the great thing about it, my teachers hate when I say this, but the great thing about it is our administrators now can just, instead of walking in your class and sitting in the back, and they can just click on it. All right, next, click on it, next. Because the problem we're having right now is we're transferring from a 7-8 school to a 7-12 school. So we're joining the high school. So our administrators are now 7-12 administrators. And so this year, our campus was a ghost town. We had no administrators. If there was a problem, we had to call the high school and say, something's going on, you got to come down here. That was a problem. This helps us out because they can be watching Buchanan people while being in their office at Alta, or vice versa. And a problem you may encounter is with teachers saying, well, what if I'm recording and I say something inappropriate? Then you shouldn't say something inappropriate, right? If you're afraid that somebody's going to watch this and say, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, then you shouldn't be doing that. You know? So, I mean, my classroom is open to anybody. Like, whenever I go to conferences, I have people saying, can we please visit your classroom to see how you get this in action? Like, absolutely. I say, I give you the okay. You just have to make sure you contact the school and make sure it's okay. Like, there's no testing going on or this or that. And I go, but when you walk in, I'm going to ignore you. And that's what I tell my kids. I go, because they get, why are there so many people that come through your class all the time? I go, do what I do and ignore them, right? And they say, what if they talk to me? Do I say, I can't, I have to ignore you? I go, no, you can answer their question. Okay, but they know when they come in that we have stuff to get done and they want to see it happening in real time. And I don't want to stop and, I'm not one of those people that say, okay, visitors are coming today. Make sure you're on your best behavior. We're going to take out as much technology as possible, make it look like it's the greatest classroom ever. I say, we're going to do the normal stuff that we normally do. I mean, we have to show it happening in a real classroom setting. And I always show, this is how we do it in a BYOD classroom, because that's my classroom. And then after lunch, I take them to the AB, which is a one-to-one situation. So I show them how you can do a complete one-to-one, and I show them how you can do a complete BYOD.
We all have to remember that role, and I tell this to teachers all the time. You are always being videotaped.
Yes.
And if you're in a BYOD or do it, if your kids bring them and they're not supposed to, you are always being videotaped, and so you should be on your best behavior.
Always. And you know what? I love that I'm always being videotaped, because my kids come to me with these little tiny movies they make of me. It looks like I'm dancing and doing stuff. I go, that's hilarious. I go, you got all your work done and you did that. I mean, that's hilarious. I said, post that to my Twitter. I love it. But see, because I have not given this presentation before, okay, because I'm always not scared, but I'm always worried that the beginning part of getting set up is the drawback, and people like, that's just too much work. But I really envision that we can all be colleagues together. It doesn't matter what site you're at, doesn't matter what district you're at, doesn't matter where you are. By connecting on Twitter or connecting at conferences, we can make a colleague and we can make a connection, and that person that you connected with may connect to your kids even better than you do. It's all about progressing the education and the engagement and the motivation of our students. And if you can do that better than me, heck yes, I'm going to let you come into my classroom via Google Hangouts and help me teach. If I can do that for your students, heck yes, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to join a Google Hangout with you. The whole point is to get this educational system off the track that it's on, which is testing. These are my kids, my scores count. I'm going to just keep them in my room. No, it's everybody. They're not your students, they're our students. And that's my big mantra that I've been pounding out for the last 6 months. They are not your students. They are our students, because they're the ones that are going to take this state and this country to the next level in the next 20 years. We need to make sure they're getting the best education possible. And if my chemistry teaching is not the best, I am sure going to find the teacher that is the best and say, hey, let's co-teach together. Whether he's in Indiana or in New York or Wyoming, I don't care. Through this as well, you can have guest speakers as well. You can go to the college and talk to some of the professors and say, hey, could you please be a guest speaker with me on Google Hangouts at 10 o'clock? You could finally start bringing guest speakers in. One of the problems when we do our end of the year evaluations with our principal, the one I always get dinged on is community involvement. And I always said to myself, well, I'm not even going to try. How can I get the community involved? I can hardly get my parents involved. But then I started figuring out, I can ask my old chemistry professor to do a quick Skype. He's in the community. Now he's involved. When I'm doing my presentations with the other teachers, I get on Twitter and I say, hey, does anybody know anything about astronomy? And they go, yeah. I go, can you be a guest Twitterer so you can answer the questions while I'm talking? Kind of like a back channel to our class. So not only are the 4 teachers teaching and the students tweeting, but we have another teacher or another person who has a real good idea on these topics joining in the conversation with the kids. Okay, getting multimedia applications into this classroom. And another reason why that this kind of presentation is hard to do is because once you get it. Once you, okay, I know how to do a Hangout now. I know how to start it up. Well, now there's 45 minutes left. What do we do? Right? So what we need to do is brainstorm how to do this. But before we do, what I want you to do is make sure you know how to start a Hangout, how to say, I'm going to be the lead teacher, you're going to be the co-teacher. Because if two teachers think they're the lead and they both create a Hangout and they're both sitting there waiting for the other one to join, that's going to be a problem. So what I would like you to do is kind of with the person next to you, and you can do it 2 or 4 or anything that you want. I would like somebody to create a Hangout live on air and have someone join in, just so we know that it's working. And then I would like you to play with the toggling tools off to the side. The one up here, the green one, is how you get your screen. So the first one, whoops. Where to go? There we go. The first one is the entire screen. So the entire screen that is showing is what is going to be projected out. This next one is by the windows. Okay, so if I select Google Hangouts, only the Google Hangout window will be projected. If I do this one, only that window will be projected, or down here, only that one. So you can go by entire screen or by window. I always do entire screen because if I accidentally close off this screen, it defaults back to the camera. And that's happened to me a couple times. I'll be recording and I'll be like talking, I'm good, and then I go back and review my lesson, and halfway through, it's just a picture of me doing this stuff, and you can't see the screen or anything. So I always choose entire screen just for that fact. I also do recommend when you are doing this, occasionally you go back to your computer and make sure it's still on the screen. For some reason, sometimes it will toggle back just to the video. So whenever I'm presenting, I always have the camera at least facing the screen. So if anything does happen, at least they're still getting the screen. But that happens occasionally. They've gotten better of it not doing that, but it happens occasionally. Let's see. I haven't played with a lot of these. This one's the question and answer. So if you don't want to talk to your fellow teachers, you can talk to them with this. Well, that's the question and answers. These are comments. I don't know what Showcase is, so you can play around with that. I've never really worked with that. Camera, you could take pictures and then show the kids pictures. Then you have your camera settings. So camera settings is where you would start your broadcast. So as guests join, you want to hide their audio and stuff. So that's completely your choice. I would say no if you want the other teacher's voice to be heard. I would say no on that. The broadcast a large video that I see to my audience and hide all other video feeds. I always select yes, so that you don't get the other teacher's video feeds jumping in at inappropriate moments. So I always select this yes there. And then it says, new guests in my large broadcast are muted when they join. I don't really have more than 3 people join anyway, so I don't do that. If I do get a larger class, I may select yes, but I don't. See right now, so see how it's toggling back and forth? The way that it works is whoever's talking, that's who the video is on. So if I stop talking and you start talking,
if I start talking,
it transfers over. But if I select that.
Well, I was telling Celeste, you really have to make sure that if you're the lead teacher, that you brush your hair good that day, because you're going to be projecting some torn up looking out. You want to make sure that you're not like, oh, whoa.
Yep, so there you go. So you want to make sure that it's all set up so that it's your screen. So you don't want them to toggle over to her screen. And then I always go into the director chair and turn off the video. Unless you toggle back and forth between each other's screens. Like you may have something up that you want to demonstrate, then you would do that. So I mean, there's so many opportunities and so many ideas that you can run with this, but this is just a great medium to let those ideas run.
Now, if you did have your students present, like let's say my kids did for, oh God, I don't want to hear my own voice. My kids did like for March Madness, they researched historical like presidents, abolitionists, reformers, and we did March Madness. So we had reformers going up against reformers. We had presidents going up against presidents. And the kids did research, and then they presented it to the class in whatever form they wanted to. And then the class had to vote out of President Jackson and President Lincoln, who do you think was a more influential character in history? So then once they went against each other and the students voted, then that was the winner of that bracket. And so we did a March Madness during March. If you had your students who were presenting and doing this to another class, it's not, I just know that my district's like super, you have to have kids sign off on everything if their image is used. Like, if it's only going out with Google Hangout and it's not going on a YouTube channel and it's still staying within our district, I'd be okay, right? I mean, yeah, you are showing the kid's picture, but it's not going out to anywhere other than within our own.
Yeah, so if you want to do that and you're worried about it going on to, you're worried about going on to YouTube.
Yeah, because okay? That's our big, they said nothing goes on YouTube, nothing goes on social media.
You can do a Google Hangout, not on air. It just won't be recorded. If you wanted to record it, what you could do, you have to open up another program as well, something like Screencast or Screencastify or Snagit. There's a lot of different free programs out there that you can do a screen recording. But I never show the kids' faces. They never talk. That can be heard. All of our kids do sign media releases. Actually, they have to opt out. So when you sign up, there's a little tiny box at the bottom. If you'd like to opt out of media, select here, and nobody hardly ever does it.
No, we have that on our beginning of the registration forms, but then like even with social media, they just this year, they started their own Facebook account for our school district. And for every picture that's on there, you have to have a kid's parents sign off on it. Even though we have the blanket statement.
That's just them being.
Yeah, that's
yeah, it's like extremely overprotective.
I mean, you have to nowadays. There's a lot of stuff going on. So for my class, I send home about 4 or 5 sheets that the parents have to sign. One of them is a digital device agreement. So since we don't have one-to-one and I'm BYOD, I always send home. I do recommend your student bring a digital device. If they do and they have to use their own data, I'm not responsible for the data they use. The school's not responsible for the data they use. I do all that stuff because I don't want their bill to be like $1,000. I'm like, well, Mr. Marquez made me use data all day long. So I always, take that away. I tell them to sign into the school Wi-Fi whenever possible, but I always send that release home just in case. I send home a digital citizenship agreement on there as well, saying, I promise when I'm using my device, I'm not looking up inappropriate images, this or that. I'm not going to meet someone online and go meet them at lunch, all that stuff. I say that we do on-air hangouts. The faces of the students are not on there. Their voices may occasionally be heard, but it's for this reason. They sign up on that. So I have a lot of papers I send home just in case. The district lawyers have told me it's all good. Like they bring their device to school. Whatever they do with it, that's their thing. So I mean, but just in case, I have these papers that they do.
If I tweet you, can you forward that to me?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Just tweet me or email me, and I'll send you the folder of all the forms that I send out. You can just change my name to your name and my school to your school, and that should work.
It would help if you're just created a good AP that allows you to use kids' pictures.
I always find it funny because they do teachers post anything to your, so I don't. We did 16th, we did painting under your desk, like the 16th chapel, and my kids were sitting there, and I had to make sure none of their faces, I had to black them out because I think that's important to see what my kids are doing, and I want other teachers to see, hey, this is something that I did, but I don't ever want to get called to carpet. Well, you did this, and you put a kid in danger.
And parents sign out, kids cannot, but then you can still take.
Oh, you guys found the effects over. Yeah, there's little effects. You can turn yourself into a clown and all those things. They're pretty funny. But this is also a great way to do PD at your school. If you don't all want to meet in the same area, your principal can start a hangout, and then you all join in, and you can all listen and talk, and they can show, because we all have to meet in the band room, and we're sitting there like, well, we can be doing other stuff too, and so.
Especially if it's not subject specific, so you're sitting there for all of 7th grade, and you're an 8th grade teacher.
This is blasphemy to say for Clovis Unified, but Clovis Unified, there's this huge kickoff thing at the very beginning of the year, and they rent out the Selland Arena, and they bring all the teachers, and I said, couldn't we do a Google Hangout? We all be in our own gym, and it could be projected on the big screen, and they're like, then we wouldn't all be able to get together. I'm like, yeah, but then we wouldn't be in an hour traffic jam trying to get in and get out.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, the idea is more powerful than the actual technology, because there's so much you can do with it. The hardest part is the start. The hardest part is trying to get the teachers to say, I know the beginning is maybe getting them to be dressed up like a pirate blowing out a birthday cake. Maybe that would entice them to want to use this a little bit more. But the idea of recording your own lessons is a great way to get the ball rolling. I recommend not mentioning the co-teaching just yet. Just get them to record their own lessons. Get them used to creating a Google Hangout. Get them used to projecting their screen. Get them used to recording and having it upload to the YouTube channel. Get them used to that, and then bring up the idea, hey, that was a great lesson. You mind if we co-teach on one of those? And they go, how do you do that? Let me show you. Here's the one problem that you have to nip in the bud right away, though, because I got in trouble for it. I showed the science teachers at Buchanan how to do this, and they were all into it. They were all going after it. It's awesome. Then one day, one of the science teachers decided, I don't feel like teaching 2nd period. I already taught 1st period. I'm going to just press play and have the kids watch what I already taught. And then decided to leave the classroom and go and talk to another teacher across the hall. Well, he didn't know our learning director was coming in to observe him. So she heard talking and looking around and couldn't find him. And they say, where is he? Oh, he left. And so he got in trouble, but I got in trouble because I was the one that showed him how to do the recording. So I had to reinsure them that that's not going to happen. And and I told that has to come down at an administrative level as well. If you're going to do this, you have to not do it this way. Okay. No, I never not teach. I never record for 1st period and just play and then blasphemy. No, I record every period and I choose my favorite, because maybe you did a really good job 2nd period, kind of messed up a little bit in 4th period, or you told a really good story in 3rd. I choose my favorite and put that on my website. I record every period. Oh, on YouTube, you go to the video and just select delete if you wanted to. I don't, because we have unlimited YouTube storage. There's no limit to how many YouTube videos you can have on there. I love leaving everything on, because sometimes I go, man, how did I teach that? I go back and listen. I was good, and I remember, and then I know what to put in and know what to put out. It's also really good because there's a lot of awards out there that you can apply for yourself, and a lot of them is, we need to see a 30-minute lesson that you've done. Well, I've done them, so pick one. So, I mean, this is also a good way to have things ready for you in the future. If you're really kind of tech savvy, what you can do is you can record 4 periods or 5 periods or 6 or whatever you have. You can import them all into a program called WeVideo, and you select the parts that were the best out of each one and make a best of for that day. You can also do it that way. That takes a little bit more time, and you know, a lot of teachers just like the idea, record, done, upload. So that's perfectly fine. But if you really want to get at it, you can always clip little parts out that were really good and then splice them together. No, so this is what's happening. So I'm the lead teacher, and the other teacher is the co-teacher. Okay. So I'm teaching, and it's up there, and they're listening. If I say something and he wants to add on to it, he goes, "Can I interject?" Sure, go ahead. And he starts talking. But at the same time, he's walking around, making sure the kids are on their devices, paying attention. He's walking around, making sure nobody's on their thing. If there's a kid that looks like they're lost, he'll sit down and be like, "Hey, do you understand what's going on?" So it really increases the classroom management for the rest of the 3 teachers, because he's constantly roaming. They're not sitting down in a chair. They're not having their legs up. They're not reading a newspaper. They're not taking the day off. Okay, they're walking around. They're helping out. They're roaming. They're going around, making sure things are working fine. They are still part of the lesson, but their main job is to listen and understand my teaching style. And then when it's their turn, my job is to roam, but then listen to their teaching style, just to see how other people do it on a daily basis. The idea is cool. The implementation is very difficult. That's why the idea of having them record their own lessons start, get them used to the paneling, get them used to that type of stuff. And then once they're cool with that, moving on to the next level. I recommend, if you do talk to your schools about this, do it on a department time. Don't do it at an all staff meeting, because you're not going to get them all, because half of them are going to be doing some, "Oh, I'm not ever going to do this," and they're doing something else. So you want to be in a small, that's why I'm happy we have a small group today, because if it was a large group, there'd be a lot more connectivity problems and trying to get on, and then it would just be bad. Small groups in this situation, to show them how to get this started, is the best. And then you say, now that you know how to do it, go teach one more teacher how to do it. And that's what I've done with my 7th grade teachers for AB. I taught 2 how to do this, and then those 2 went and taught 2 more how to do it. So they're co-teaching together, and then these other 2 are co-teaching together. And then next year, everybody has a co-teacher friend. Everybody has a teacher friend that's having a common pace, and they're going to teach together. The first day of school, we're doing a 7th grade AB, the entire department-wide Kahoot to start the year. So one teacher is going to start the Kahoot. The Kahoot gets beamed to all the other kids. They join in. They can see the questions. They can use their phones. And so it's going to be about 300 plus students at a time playing against each other in a Kahoot. So that's going to be fun. I'd like to play Kahoots with people in other states. That'd be fun as well. So.
Not everybody's going to be open to it, but if you can have that, to me, it would seem like if I know they want to go, I might be able to get buy-in from another school, but if you're that one teacher that isn't buying in, and you've got the 3 classes or 4 classes that are, it kind of makes it seem like, here's all the community, and you guys are the kind of ones that are left out. So I think it builds a lot of strong unity, and even the competition between classes. You know what, we won the food for this week, we're top dogs, and next week we want to, win our class.
No, absolutely. This year, our school is going to, we have a revamping of the whole campus, taking out all the old cabinets that are broken. And so teachers had to finally clean their cabinets out after 15 years. And so in the department office, there were trophies everywhere. People just getting rid of all these trophies. And I said, well, I'm going to take off the top. I'm going to 3D print a Kahoot medallion, and it's going to be the department Kahoot trophy. So I took all these old trophies, and I'm resticking them with these medallions, and so it's going to be like a bragging rights type thing. So, and then you would ask, well, how do you know the winner? If it's all these, it'd be whoever the top winner is, that class would be the winner. So whoever gets number one, that's the top. So that's what we did with all of our old trophies. That's what we're going to do with all of our old trophies. So it's going to be pretty fun to watch.
And I think with the kids have to buy in. Like, I would hate to be in a class that doesn't buy into it. It's like, well, they're doing the fun stuff, and it's, you know, I think it's almost like peer pressure that you get other people to buy into it.
No, absolutely. And the kids, they really get into it because when I go into the 7th grade class, I don't know any of the 7th grade kids because I do 8th grade science. I don't know any of the 7th grade kids. But the moment I walk in, they go, yes, we get to do the video stuff. They love it. They love, even though it's just a teacher right next door, they love competing against them. They love having class competitions. We did this. With Will talked about the hyperdrive type thing. Basically, what it is, it's a Google mashup using multiple Google tools to complete one project. So we did something called the historical Disney scavenger hunt. So this was towards the end of the year. 7th grade is world history. So I looked at all of their standards and where they went. So they went to Mongolia, they went to China, and I found every Disney character from those places. And so what I did was, we created a Google Classroom for the two. So it's called the multi-Google Classroom. So we have all those. I did a presentation to both classes. And then I said, when I say go, the scavenger hunt begins. And I gave them all the rules and they were off. And all they did is they clicked on the link in Google Classroom. It brought up a form. That form had a question. It said, who is the person in this picture? Well, there's no picture. It says, click on the link to figure it out. So they click on the link and it brings up a My Map. And in the My Map, you click here and it says, now go down here. Click here, it says, go over here. And then finally, they click on the last one. It brings up a picture and it's Mulan. They go, oh, it's Mulan. So they go back to the form. They type Mulan and they hit enter and it's correct. And it moves them on to the next question. And if they didn't type Mulan, if they just typed in like tiger, it would say incorrect because in the form, you can do an actual word-based answer. And if that's not the right answer, it won't move them along. So it's a nice little scavenger hunt. And the very last one was, we had 7 different spots they had to go to. And the very last one was, you win. Now to win, you have to stand up and sing your favorite Disney song. And so I knew the winner because we were sitting there doing it. And then all of a sudden in the room across, we started hearing some Aladdin song. And all the kids were like, what's going on? I'm like, you're the winners, because they finally went all the way through. So it was really fun competition between the classes. I know it's out there. I know the idea is kind of fringe, but just the possibilities of being able to teach with a fellow colleague that you have things in common with, the idea of getting on Twitter and be going like, hey, you teach science? I'm like, yeah. Hey, would you ever want to do a common lesson just one day and trying it out? Imagine your kids saying, hey, we're going to learn with some Indiana kids. Huh? Just the ideas. I'm going full blown on this next year. I'm really going to go on to because there is a mystery Skype channel and then there's a mystery GHO channel. I'm going to go on there. Now, I don't want to do a mystery Skype. I want to do an actual lesson with you. Is anybody down? I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try and see if there's anybody willing to do a common lesson with me. You have one for me? Oh. Did they have a Twitter? If he has a Twitter, let me know and I'll add him and I'll give him a. Oh, yes. That'd be great for our astronomy unit. And then notice, so we're still live and it says right up here, we're live. We're going. Down here is stop broadcast. So as soon as I hit stop broadcast,